Hello, welcome. So this week's video, I decided that I really like the area where my main character, Rook, ends up in a rock quarry, and that's her punishment. So essentially, when she gets there, she sees how it's an enslavement. Like people go there and they basically either give up on life or they want to escape, they want to figure a way out, but over time they give in and basically give up. Their hopes turn to ash. And so in there, though, she decides a different route. She decides that instead of choosing to escape or to hold on to escape, because eventually she obviously wants to do that, and instead of giving up, she decides that she's going to make it her choice, that something that life has thrust upon her that she has to go through and she has to grow through, that essentially she chooses this fate. She chooses to take it by the reins, to not play victim. You know, nobody would blame anybody for being a victim of a situation. But if you want to push through it, there's a certain freedom in choosing it, in choosing to not combat it, but choosing to make it a part of you, choosing to take the fire and the flames of the torture or what would be considered torture and use that to mold yourself, use it almost like a forge to create yourself into something better. So it's not really bucking against the victim mentality. It's not bucking against the rebellion of not accepting it, but it's more not accepting your fate, but accepting the challenge itself and then choosing to grow from that challenge, choosing to look at it and say, I don't know what this will do to me. This is not ideal. This sucks. But from here, how can I turn it to my advantage? Not where's the good in it, not where's the silver lining, but how can I turn this into something that I can grow from? And it's really that when you change your view on something, the thing changes. Like if you have something you don't like in your life and you continually do it, and you think, if the situation was different, if the elements were different, that you'd be different. Like, say you have a bad habit of cluttering things, and it's like, well, if I had more space to properly put these things away, that's the issue. But the problem is you're going to take that attitude with you to the bigger space if that's what you end up getting. And then you have more clutter or more things. And sure, you can cut down and say, well, what I don't need, what I don't want, what I don't use. But you really have to change the habits themselves that caused the clutter in the first place. So if you want to change and you want to grow from something and you make that decision that you're going to find the best outcome, if you're going to create the best outcome, that you have to look at what brought you there and how you're going to change those things, because the external is a reflection of the internal. And if you feel those habits, if you have that cluttering inside of you or the things that you want to change, and you think, well, when this condition changes, then I'll be able to change. When I have more money, then I'll be able to handle the problems I have now. But the thing is as much as it sucks, basically, you have to find a way to be okay with where you're at and to pull back the energy from blaming, from dreaming, from wondering about your future situation and put that into the now. Dreams and wondering are a source of telling you and showing you what you want. And that's a great practice. But there comes a point in time where you have to withdraw from that dream, not really pull away from it, integrate it. Withdraw isn't the right word. You have to integrate that dream into the now so that you can propel yourself forward, so that you can realize the tools and the assets you have around you to bring it to yourself now in this moment. And then as you manage the things on a smaller scale, the things you don't want to deal with that you think that later on you can deal with when you have more resources, if you deal with those now, it's going to prepare you for if those get bigger when other circumstances come in. It's almost like I forget what it's called, but it's a concept of every time that you learn something new, your circle becomes bigger. And as your circle becomes bigger, the problems that were in your circle that were so huge are now smaller and you're able to deal with them. But as you expand that circle of knowledge of growth, then there's other things that now you have to integrate. So you're continually integrating and learning and overcoming, and you're getting new lessons. Like they say, more money, more problems. It's not about having money as a problem. It's that the problems themselves are larger, they're different, they're of a higher scale, and there's always going to be problems because problems aren't really problems unless you make them problems. Problems are challenges that you're to accept and grow from, and they're lessons to be learned. So in this particular video, in this particular instance, I just really wanted to cover the concept of accepting where you're at, but not as a giving in, accepting it as this is where I'm at. Now, where can I go from here? What can I do right now to take those steps towards the situation I want to be in, instead of taking all the energy away from myself and saying, one day if I had this, or one day I'll have that, if this circumstance happens, to say that in the now, I'm going to make the best of it and figure out what I can do right now and slowly propel. And as you start to build momentum, as you start laying these things out and you have a drive and a plan, even if it's just the next step, then the universe tends to accommodate you somehow or another. Sometimes it's more challenges, but in the end, it's all about growing and moving towards what you want in life. Thank you guys for joining. This concludes this video. I think I'm at an ending point to where if I keep on going, I'm liable to ramble. My brain kind of goes do-do-do-do-do, so I have to drop in the heart space and just kind of feel and navigate the waters of my content. So I love you guys. Thank you for joining. Hop in the comments below and let me know what you're going through, the things that you're working on. And as a community, maybe we can share, and if nothing else, we can listen. That means a lot when someone listens and actually sees the real you. So I will see you guys in the next video. Love you.